Good morning. This is Holly with Holly's Joys, and I'm sharing another memory about my mother growing up, a story that she told me. And I think this was a real formative story for me because of things that happened. It, I don't know, kind of made sense to me at the time. So, anyway, we're going to just jump right in. Before I do, though, I want to remind you that I have other videos on stories about growing up, and I also do arts and crafts videos on how-tos and different things like that. So just check out all the different ones. I also have written a book and I have some readings out of it. And I am writing a book called The Next 12 Steps, which is for people who have relatives or friends or someone near and dear to their heart who struggles with addiction. And it's just little tricks and tips on how to, I don't know, live daily life in a more joyous way when somebody has that struggle with it that's around you. All right, now we're into the memory. And this particular memory is called The Sewing Project and the Principal. So, if you'll remember, I told a story about the rocking chair incident with the sliding glass door being opened and nobody was really there. So I couldn't really shake the feeling that there might be something else in the house after that, something I really couldn't see. And I often wondered if it was benevolent or if it was malicious. Either way, I was on guard and my senses were sharpened for any flicker of strange and unseen. So this story that my mom tells kind of goes along those same lines. She saw these apparitions periodically at our house, and each time her fear was unmistakable. She didn't talk about them often, but when she did, it always had this edge of unease, and it really made my skin crawl and added a lot of fear to my growing up. One day in particular stayed with me. It was a story that she told about being in high school when she had been at odds with her sewing teacher. So she would have been about 16 years old. They clashed, and as a result, my mom had not completed her sewing project and did not pass the class. So the principal, he probably understood about this tension that was going on between her and her teacher. He had given her permission to do the work after school when the teacher would not be there and she'd be all by herself. So she told me that she was there and working on her sewing project, and she was at the sewing machine and she was bent over, and you know how you're really focused on what you're doing, and she's got her hands on the material and feeding it through and watching that needle go up and down in the fabric. And so she was being very careful and very precise so that she could complete this project. The classroom was quiet except for that steady hum of the machine. She heard footsteps coming. Someone was walking towards the classroom, and the sound was deliberate and measured, and it echoed just a little bit because the school was empty at the time. She didn't look up right away, assuming it was probably the principal coming in to check on her and see how she was doing. But when the footsteps stopped, it was just inside the doorway of the classroom she was in. And she just kind of side-eyed it and looked under the machine, and she could see men's pants legs and men's shoes. And she thought, yeah, it's the principal. And she just kept focused on her material, and she thought, it's some man standing there. So probably the principal, let me greet him. So she stopped sewing. She looks up to, say hello, and nobody was there. The classroom was completely empty. She described how her heart almost stopped in that moment. Her fear just seized her entire body. She didn't think, she just acted. She pushed herself up from the chair and she ran out of that room, out of the school, and never went back. Although she was bright, probably brilliant, she never earned her high school diploma. The sewing room became the threshold that she said, I am never crossing that. And that stuck with her. And I think that she really wanted to know what happened, but it was also at the same time afraid to know what happened. So my prayer for you is to be patient with others, because you don't know what their experiences are, and try and temper judgment. It was hard as a kid because it impacted me. I believed her 100%, and it impacted me as far as adding fear to my life. So we have to be measured in how we believe things, and I know it's harder when you're a child, but I mean, I still believe her to this day that she believes that that happened, and maybe something did happen, but I will never know what it is, and I'm okay with that. So just give people room to share with you, be with you, and please like, share, follow, subscribe, do all the things, push all the buttons. Know that I appreciate you, and appreciate you bearing with me, sharing my stories. And maybe some of you have similar stories. And we'll talk to you later. Bye.